Okay, so hi there everybody. We're now on our next video in statistics, in the introduction to statistics. And here in the previous video we have just finished on how to create this improvised frequency distribution table for our quantitative um, data. Now we're going to create the graphical representations, or shall we say the graphical presentations on how to present the data of our quantitative frequency distribution. So there are two ways to do them. Actually, there are a lot more, like the ogives, but we haven't reached the cumulative frequency topic, so we won't be using that. Technically, we'll be just talking about the histogram and the frequency distribution here. So first, let's talk about the histogram. So what is a histogram? So this is a graph that displays the data by using continuous vertical bars of various heights to represent the frequencies in the class. So compared to a bar graph has this bars which has some space between the bars. So a histogram deletes those spaces. That's why it's called the continuous vertical bars. Continuous, sorry for the typo. Okay, so a graph consists of a series of vertical columns or rectangles with no gaps between them. Again, um, versus bar graphs, it has gaps. Histogram does not have gaps. So each bar is drawn with a base equal to the class boundaries. That is your class boundaries here, and your height corresponds to the class frequency. That is your y-axis. Your x-axis are the boundaries. But in this case, we'll just improvise. We're going to make use of the upper limit as our class boundaries. And a suitable graph for representing data obtained from a continuous variables or continuous scale. So, or continuous variables rather. So a bar graph is usually used in discrete variables wherein there are gaps because the values are discrete. So we use the histogram if the values are continuous to let you see a continuous flow of data. So one example of histogram will be shown on the next slide, but we have here some historical note. So the first one whoever used a histogram, of course, our statistician Carl Pearson way back in 1891. He used it to show the time concepts of various reigns of prime ministers. So that's a continuous data. That's time, right? So this is one example of a histogram. So you can see that a Y is composed of the frequencies. We have a title here of this histogram, and we have here the class boundaries. You can see 99.5 to 104.5, from 104.5 to 109.5, and then so on. And then we have the temperature here. And we're going to make that in a similar case here. So let's do this. Again, if you want to have the histogram, technically what you will do is to click here on the frequency. You click the insert. So when you click the insert, there will be an option here, which is not this one, these are the bar graphs. And here are the histograms. These are actually the graphs for statistical. So you click this one. This is the histogram. This is the Pareto graph. This is the box and whisker graph. So let's make use of the histogram. The bad thing in my Excel is that how would you do this if you're going to use the histograms? Of course, you can change the title. You can make it whatever you want. Say the eldest child of parents. Sorry, parents in a given class. So you can change that as a histogram. Um, Here in my Excel, I don't know what happens, but if I'm going to click on this, you should be clicking on this number here, in such a way that we will follow this procedure wherein the lines that separates the bars are class boundaries. But if I'm going to click this, I should have clicked this right click and then click on format axis. On my axis options, it's actually here. Okay, on my access options, there should be an option there. If you're using a different kind of Excel, there should be an option there which says bin width or bin interval. Um, if that's the case, you can change the bin interval in such a way that it will follow these class boundaries. Okay, in my Excel, I don't know why, by some enigmatic reason, there's no bin width or bin interval there. Actually, there should be a lot of options, but I don't know, maybe my version in Excel cannot do that. So what I did is I will improvise. We will improvise. So let's delete that histogram. What we will do is we're going to make use of the bar graph and make it a histogram. Again, highlight this one, this column for the frequency. We will choose now the bar graph here, the column. Click this one, the simplest. And then, well, pretty much it looks like a bar graph. Notice the bar graph has have some spaces. But what we can do again is we will improvise. Click on this. We right click and then we go to the format data series. When we go there, there will be the option that will pop up. Looks like this. What we will do is to make the sorry, where was that? To make properties, I think. Sorry, where did I go? Let's click that again. I just got lost. Again, right click on this and then format data series. Um, it will give us the series options. And then what we will do, since a histogram doesn't have any spaces, we will make the gap with 0. If we'll do that, it will look like this. Okay, notice there's no more gaps, but as you can see, the lines are not seen, just like here, the lines here are very much emphasized. What we will do is to, again, improvise on that. We'll click this, and then we will write on the border. There's no line. We'll click the solid line. We'll make the transparency 0 so that it will be surely seen. We'll change the color to black. We'll make it bigger. Let's make the width 1.5 to make it bigger. So I think, yeah, you can see now the bars. It's very much highlighted over here. Okay, then what we want to do is to make sure, well, these are the frequencies, the number of these should be the class boundaries. These are the frequencies, right? Our vertical axis, our horizontal axis must be the category or the horizontal, the class boundaries in short. So let's right click on this. What we will do is click here, okay, and then right click on that, and then select data. What we want to do is that the horizontal axis, the x-axis, which is this one, should have some label. So what we want to do is we click this, and then we are to choose what will be the labels. We will choose the upper limit labels, okay, and then enter. And then after this, we will be um, clicking OK. And then what we'll have are the labels are now the upper limits of the class boundaries. Again, this is a improvisation. Okay, if you cannot create a bar graph directly, since I have an error in my Excel, so I find ways for me to create a histogram rather. So let's change the name of this. This is maybe we can make it as the eldest child of parents. Oh, sorry, parents. Let's call it histogram. You can name it whatever you want, okay? And then I just want to name it like this. So this is our histogram here. Maybe I can put it here, this part. Let's make this smaller. Hopefully you can still see. Okay, let's just put it here. Okay, so that's our histogram. Now, let's go back into slides. So it's a good thing we have found already we can create a histogram here. Let's return to our slides and let's move. After the histogram, again, we still have the frequency distribution. So what is this? So it's a graph that displays the data by using lines that connect points, okay? Plotted for frequencies at the midpoints of the classes, at the middle points, or the class marks. Those are the midpoints. The frequencies are represented by the heights of the points. Constructed by plotting class marks as your x, and the values of your x-axis is your class marks or class midpoints against the class frequencies y, which is written here, and connecting the consecutive points by straight lines. To close the frequency polygon, an additional class interval is added to both ends of the distribution, each with a 0 frequency. So we will be adding some class interval in both ends, in the start and at the end, and then we will write a 0 frequency with that class interval. Naming that class interval is not necessary, just as long as the frequencies are 0. Why do we need that? Because in a frequency polygon, we need to connect it should be a polygon, right? So a polygon, the definition of a polygon is that it's an enclosed plane. Okay, it's an enclosed figure, okay, with no curves, right? So it should be enclosed. Okay, I'll give you an example. So just some historical notes. Graphs Frequency polygons are graphs originated when ancient astronomers drew the position of the stars in the heavens. Roman surveyors also used coordinates to locate landmarks on their maps. So this is some historical notes about graphs. Now this is a frequency polygon. So you can see we start with 0 because a frequency polygon is a polygon in general is an enclosed plane. Okay, so we should start with 0 and then end with 0 so that it will be enclosed here. So you can imagine if we're going to shade this part here, what you will have is a polygon. So imagine without the 0, so it will end here in 102 degrees Celsius on this line. I think this is 2. And here on 132, I think this is 1. So it will not be enclosed. So in short, it's not a polygon. So if you want it to be called a frequency polygon, start with zeros. Now, what can we do to create a frequency polygon? So let's go back here. Again, we will be needing as additional 0 on the frequency before the frequency. Okay, and then after this one, let's insert here. Again, naming the frequency is not important, or the interval rather, but we just need to put zeros here. Okay, and then what we'll do is we'll highlight this part, click insert and tabs, click on these lines, okay, and just choose the basic one, this one, and then yeah, what you have is the frequency polygon already. Okay, that's frequency polygon. Let's change the title if you want. um I don't need you. Okay, change the title. Let's make it the same with the chart on the left, on the, what do you call that, on the histogram. Eldest child of parents. Sorry, parents. Frequency polygon. Again, you can change this name to whatever you want or your teacher wants. Okay, now what we will do then is to maybe if you want, you can highlight the points if no, not that one. That's kind of awful. Um, that's so big. Okay, anyways, let's copy this. If you want, we can change the values or change the graph itself. If you really want to make it like there are points there strictly, so we can do that. Again, highlight these, insert, click on the lines, and what do we want? Maybe you would want this. Okay, so there are points already. Okay, let's put it here, this side, the histogram, change the title. Okay, and then it's quite big title. Let's make it smaller. Home font and make it smaller. Okay, and why is it bolded? Okay, there you go. So this is our frequency polygon, eldest child of parents. What we would then need to do is, well, the frequencies are here on the y-axis. On the x-axis, it should be the class mark. So again, we right-click on this horizontal values. We click select data, and we would want to change our horizontal or category axis into this. So we will choose the class marks again, and then enter, and then hit enter again or click OK here. What you will have are the class marks down below. That will be our class marks. That should be changed. It should start on the 135. The 135 should start here, not here. It's kind of wrong. Let's start. Let's put it 0 here and 0 here. Okay, if we'll do that, maybe let's fix it again. Uh, right click on this, select data, and then you'll choose this one again. We'll choose this from here to here, and then click enter and click OK. I think that will fix stuff. Yeah, that will fix stuff. So therefore, here we go. So we have 0 from 0 up until 13.5. The frequency, the class mark on 13.5 is going to give us 8. It's still 8 on 17.5, and so on until 0. So the good thing in the frequency polygon is that it can let you see the shape of the distribution clearly, quite enough. Also, you can do that in the histogram also, but it's not quite clear. You should have a lot of intervals to make it look like, or you can see the symmetry. Here you can already see the asymmetry or the symmetry of it. So it's clearly a positively skewed distribution or a right skewed distribution. So since most of the scores are low, likewise you can see that in the histogram. Okay, so let's put them higher. Oops, sorry. Okay, so there you go. So that's how you do your graphs in Excel. Okay, again, this is the histogram, this is the frequency polygon, and let's click next. And yeah, that's the end of the organizing and summarizing, or shall we say, presenting your quantitative data. So if you have something that you are confused with, you can always watch this video so that it will be clear to you. So well, that's it for now. Thank you very much. Hope you like and subscribe. Okay, see you.